probably ranked like number 5 receiver in the country. I think I ended up being that. So, yeah, awesome. 247, much love.
Too low. I think I was ranked like 13th receiver in the nation. I really should have been this number I'm holding up.
I think 247 showed a little love. I don't remember though. I think it's tough. I know I was like top 50. I think so. I don't remember hitting a 5-star on none of them. So damn. Okay. Shout out 247, man.
I like, much like a lot of these guys, in high school prospects.
I know I was a 4-star. I don't know. I think I was probably like 20, 27 around.
Like a 3 or 4 stars. 3 or 4 star, 4-star, I think. 4-star, 4-star.
Let's welcome in Andrew Ivins, Director of Scouting. My man, you're the one that hands out all the stars. Now, can you give me my stars real quick? Come on. If you do remember. Now, we'll forget all about that. Let's talk about the guy that was in the lap of the quarterback last night, Patrick Mahomes, Josh Sweat.
Yeah, I think, Josh Sweat kind of one of those forgotten 5 stars. And you got to go back to the class of 2015. And that's the same year Kyler Murray, right, Derwin James, and right there at number 6 overall, Josh Sweat carried the tag of the number 1 ranked weak side defensive end. We are gone with that. Now we got the defensive linemen and the edge rushers. But he was awesome. And this was a kid, I remember he had a big ESPN game when he was a senior in high school playing up there at Oscar Smith in Virginia. Ended up going to Florida State, a productive 3 years, but he was selected in the 4th round of the 2018 NFL draft, kind of fell down recruiting boards. I don't know about you guys. I was watching last night that front 7 for the Eagles, and it was like, oh, there's Josh Sweat. He's making another pressure. There's Josh Sweat hitting Patrick Mahomes again. And then it's like, well, hey, this was a 5-star talent. This is a kid that everyone in the country wanted. And, another one of my big takeaways coming out of the Super Bowl last night is you look at the Eagles roster, the way that Howie Roseman has constructed that thing. He has just tried to assemble and acquire, the best players with the highest ceilings out there. I mean, they had 9 former first-round picks in the starting lineup, 6 former second-round picks in that starting lineup. 4 of those guys were 5 stars. 4 more of them were inside the top 247. It seems like Howie Roseman understands that you want the best players, you want these guys with traits, and that is a winning strategy.
It was incredible what they were doing, the Eagles' defensive line. I mean, every other play, they were in the backfield of Patrick Mahomes and the rest of the guys there with the Chiefs. But incredible performance by that defensive line led by Josh Sweat, like you mentioned. But the guy I want to bring up is wide receiver DeVonta Smith. And I know you, of all people, have a crazy story from back when he was working out.
Well, Tom, Smoke, you guys know this, right? We're in this era where the big-time recruits, they really don't want to work out. Once they're kind of approaching that senior season, a lot of guys shut it down. Hey, they got their stars. They've made it. I'm just ready to get to college and then eventually the NFL. So back in 2016, my first year at 24/7 Sports, I remember my assignment, cover Mark Richt's inaugural Paradise Camp at the University of Miami. Had a bunch of former greats there on hand, and that thing was absolutely loaded. I think I was just counting it up, like a dozen future NFLers worked out. So you had Jerry Jeudy doing one-on-ones. You had James Cook doing one-on-ones. And DeVonta Smith, he was there, but he wasn't planning to work out. And I remember I was standing right next to him. Next thing you know, Mark Richt walks by and says something, and then all those South Florida DBs start chirping DeVonta Smith. Well, I don't know where he found the cleats, but he laced them up. He went out there, and he absolutely dominated one-on-ones alongside Jerry Jeudy, alongside Mark Pope. If you know about Mark Pope. It was just an awesome night. And what really stood out to me about DeVonta Smith, aside from that competitive drive, right, when he was initially planning to shut it down, is he was just an elite route runner. The same questions that everyone had when he was coming out kind of after that Heisman Trophy campaign. Hey, is the frame going to hold up? That's what we had in high school. He finished as a 5-star. And, man, I think we can put those to bed. This guy's the real deal.
Speaking of DBs, I'm a DB myself, and missed a pick 6 last night, Cooper DeJean. Now, when you look at him, you understand that this is a football player. I mean, he can do it inside. He can do it outside. Punt return with ball skills. When you first evaluated him, what was your first initial thoughts just walking away?
Well, I got to get a lot of credit here to the former 24/7 Sports Director of Scouting, Barton Simmons. Cooper DeJean was one of his guys. Participated in the All-American Bowl. He actually finished, I think this is going to surprise a lot of people, as the number 8 ranked safety, number 149 overall player in the 2021 recruiting cycle. I'm sure we could go back to 2020 when that ranking finalized. I'm sure there's a lot of fan bases not happy that the kid out of Ida Grove, Iowa, was ranked ahead of their favorite commit. Well, Barton Simmons and the rest of the 24/7 Sports scouting department looked pretty good last night. And Barton put it best. You go on 24/7 Sports, pull up that Cooper DeJean profile. Cooper is best kid on the playground type of player. I mean, this is a 3-phase contributor. He went 25-0 as his team's starting quarterback the last 2 years of high school. 4-sport athlete, won state titles in the long jump, 100-meter dash, also scored over 1,800 career points on the basketball court. Plenty of videos circulating today of him dunking out there. And, he might be a kid from a small town, but he's a box checker. And now at 24/7 Sports, this is exactly what we are looking for. I think Coy Parrish, the Minnesota Star safety, is a prime example of Cooper DeJean kind of opening the door. Another kid from rural America, decorated multi-sport athlete. I fought to get Coy Parrish into the All-American Bowl. Everyone was like, who is this kid? First few days he struggles in practice. Well, he ended up being named MVP of the game. Then he had an all Big Ten type of campaign. So these are the guys we're looking for. Box checkers out there. It doesn't matter where they live. Barton's famous saying with Cooper DeJean, hey, a basketball hoop is 10 feet tall in Iowa, it's 10 feet tall in South Florida, it's 10 feet tall in Texas, and it's 10 feet tall out in California. And guys, I'll say this, Cooper DeJean, he's got a younger brother, Jax DeJean, our number 1 ranked player in Iowa for the 2027 cycle.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Jax if you didn't, because there's nobody higher on that kid and one of the top underclassmen of the country than you are. So Cooper's may have been, Barton's guy, but Jax is yours, no question about it. But the position and the guy I want to bring up to you is Jalen Hurts, the quarterback position. Can run it, can throw it, and honestly, Patrick Mahomes can, and I think he even showed last night how well of a runner he is. But when you're looking at quarterbacks, and I love the fact that you and I see eye to eye on the quarterback position so often because I have great respect of what you do and how you go about it. But what do you look for when you're evaluating the quarterback position?
Well, Tom, I think legs are an X factor these days. It's so important. I mean, we just talked about the Philadelphia Eagles pass rush. These front sevens have just gotten so good that quarterbacks must be able to create and buy themselves chances. That doesn't mean you have to be a true, quote unquote, dual threat type of quarterback, but hey, you got to be able to get out of some sacks, extend plays, and hunt those big gains, hunt those touchdowns. And I think if you look at our 2025 rankings, which just came out, right, those are the ones that finalized. We had 16 quarterbacks inside the top 247. Only 3 of them rushed for less than 500 yards in high school over the span of their 3 or 4 year career. On the flip side, we had 3 quarterbacks that rushed for over 1,000 yards. So I think with where football is right now, if you're a quarterback, you got to be able to just kind of move around. And yeah, if you can, supplement with some designed runs and help carry that run game, that's certainly a plus. I mean, this isn't just the Super Bowl, right? Think back to the national title game a few weeks ago. You had Will Howard. He's a guy that can run. And then obviously Riley Leonard, we saw him on that opening drive for Notre Dame. So yeah, it was certainly at that quarterback position. We're looking for guys that are multi-sport athletes. I mean, Riley Leonard, he was a basketball guy. Hey, Jalen Hurts, massive weight room guy. We don't hear that a lot. You don't come across it a lot. But I think from a team building perspective, right, if you can find a quarterback that likes to move iron and is into that type of thing, that goes a long way because those teammates are going to play for a guy that isn't allergic to the squat rack, a guy that likes to be in there. So if we can find a quarterback that does some powerlifting, certainly going to get an extra look for me.
Now, just speaking of quarterbacks, we know who won the NFL MVP this weekend. Josh Allen. Not a highly rated guy, scrawny, underdeveloped player coming out. But like you just said, one of the hardest positions to evaluate is the quarterback position. So if there's a kid out there right now that has height, not that much weight, but has that unbelievable talent, Drew, what would you say and any advice that you would give to this young guy on getting himself on the radar so he can be evaluated properly?
Well, Smoke, I think, Josh is a prime example of what makes the evaluation process, whether it's the high school rankings or like the NFL draft, kind of fun. I mean, we all know the story. Was at junior college, emailing everyone looking for a scholarship. Wyoming gives him that chance. I just think with where we are right now in the information gathering age, the ability to slip through the cracks is shrinking, but it still happens. And I think the biggest thing is just putting yourself out there and just being seen by someone, because you just need one chance, one opportunity, and that can really open up the floodgates. I also think, unlike Josh Allen, we just saw the clips of him there playing in Wyoming. I mean, if Josh Allen was a rising senior now in college, where would he finish his current collegiate career with the transfer portal and all the rules that are in place? Because, yeah, we know that like the Power 4 schools are kind of mining the Group of 5 seasons, using the PFF, going through all the box scores and everything like that. But I know there's some college football playoff contenders where their recruiting departments are set up where, hey, once we get closer and closer to signing day, we're going to go through every Group of 5 recruiting class. We're going to go through every FCS recruiting class because we're looking for those guys that did slip through the cracks. So, again, I think what he's been able to do, the fact that he was a no-star recruit, that's what makes this thing fun. And we're never always going to get it right? Guys are still going to, exceed expectations because we're talking about, 15, 16, 17, 18-year-olds, they all change at a different time. And I always say it's a genetic sport, right? Aside from maybe some of these positions like the quarterback, hey, if you got the size, someone's going to give you an opportunity. So, yeah, it's certainly a fun one and awesome that he did win the award.
Drew, thank you again, man. Love the information that you give. Appreciate you coming on. Now, for more with Andrew Ivins and Cooper Tagnia, check out the 105 on Wednesdays, wherever you get your podcasts.